Well, I'm not sure where I should stand here. We've got kids. Should have had all the adults move over there and the kids be over here, but that's okay. Well, I almost feel like, no, I'm sure that God helped me to choose this particular story, presentation, because it's almost a direct follow-on of what the young people presented earlier in Sabbath school. And we're going to be looking at wonders of creation, worshiping God through his creation. How many of you know the very first verse? Don't look. The very first verse of the Bible. Several. Yes. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Say it with me together. So the evening and the morning were the first day. And look at that upside down rainbow. Have you ever seen an upside down rainbow? No. Well, I saw that one time when I was actually over by Cooley Dam. And this beautiful upside down rainbow appeared in the clouds, and I had to stop and take a picture of it. It was so beautiful. Then God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Do you know what that big word means, firmament? It means the air that we breathe, what's between us and the clouds. And thus God made the firmament. And he created some really interesting clouds too, didn't he? And he divided the waters that were above the firmament, go ahead, from the waters which were under the firmament. So what does the waters be under the firmament? What's the water be that's under the firmament? The clouds are above. The water below is a pond or a lake or an ocean, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and so the evening and the morning were the second day. That's right. Then God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." That looks pretty dry, doesn't it? But there's a little bit of water. And if you look on this side, there was a little bit of water too. And it was so. Go ahead. And look at that rushing water. That was taken just a little ways from here, about maybe a mile over by the dam there. And the water was really rushing. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass." You see the grass there? The herb bearing seed. Do you know what those are? Sunflowers, yeah. Do you like sunflower seeds? Yes. Yeah, me too. They're really good on salad. And then he also made beautiful flowers, didn't he? Aren't those pretty? Go ahead. And the fruit bearing seed on the earth, and it was so. What are those? Those are cherries, yes. Yeah, me too. Don't those look good? And the earth brought forth grass, the herb that yields seed, and the tree that yields fruit, whose seed is in itself, according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons, for days and years." Have you ever seen a sun like that? When there's a fire in the area, sometimes there's a lot of smoke in the air, and it makes a sun that looks just like that. I was looking directly at the sun, and that's just what it looked like. It was kind of scary almost, but you could actually see the colors of the sun through the smoke.
I saw wet sun before.
Yeah. "And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth." And it was so. Then God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. Ever seen the moon look like that? Yeah. When there's an eclipse or an almost full moon, well, when it's full moon, it's way brighter than that. That was an eclipse moon. He made the stars also, and then God set them in the heavens to give light to the earth. Now, those 2 stars that we see aren't really stars. Those are planets. The smaller one is, I think that's Venus, but it might be Mars, and the bigger one is Jupiter. Isn't that an interesting thing? And what's that crescent thing? That's the moon. And God saw that it was good. So the evening and the morning were the 4th day. Then God said, "Let the waters abound with abundance of living creatures, and let the birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." Know what kind of ducks those were?
No.
In that previous one, they were wood ducks. And what kind of a duck is this? It's a mallard. Very good. So God created great sea creatures. I didn't have any pictures of great sea creatures, so we are stuck with these. They were very small. They were about that long, but they're koi, and they were in a park in Spokane. God created great sea creatures and every living thing that moves, with which the waters abounded, according to its kind. Look at all the different colors God created. Isn't that interesting? All those different fish. They're all the same kind of fish, but look at all the different colors. Isn't that kind of like people? Aren't we all? We have different color hair. We have different color eyes. Sometimes our skin's a different color. Isn't that interesting? God's very creative. And aren't those pretty? Those fish, aren't they pretty? And what's this? Yeah, there's a frog. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters."
It looks like a bullfrog.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Go ahead. "And let the birds fly above the earth across the face of the firmament of the heavens." Anybody know what kind of bird that is? That is a pine. No, this is not the pine grosbeak. It's a grosbeak. I can't remember. Black-headed grosbeak, I think. What's that?
Butterfly.
Yeah, isn't that pretty? What kind of flowers are those? Anybody know? No, they're lilacs. And that butterfly was really enjoying those lilacs. And aren't butterflies beautiful? Did you know that butterflies go from being a little egg to a worm, a caterpillar? And then they go into a funny little thing they call a chrysalis or a cocoon, and then they become a butterfly.
But they would stay in it for 5 days, I think, and then they'll pop out.
Yeah, something like that. And that's kind of like us. As we come to know Jesus, he changes us. When we're first coming to Jesus, or maybe while we're not even knowing Jesus yet, we're like that little egg. And then we become a little bit more familiar, and we're like the caterpillar. And then sometimes we kind of grow into a static or a stasis form where God transforms us completely from the inside out. And then we become a beautiful butterfly. Those were called emperor moths. And God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply." So the evening and the morning were the 5th day. That's right. Go ahead. And then God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures after its kind." What's that? Chipmunk. Anybody like chipmunks? I like chipmunks. I think they're so cute. I always have to slow down when I see them dash across the road. And what are those? Yeah, those are goats. But in the Bible, even goats are considered cattle. We think of cows when we think of cattle, but goats are included under the general heading of cattle. Go ahead. And creeping things. What's that? That's a ground squirrel. Very good. Yeah. That's actually a mommy ground squirrel. And what do we have here? A bear, yes. And beasts of the earth. Yeah, a lot of us have had experiences with bears up here. Yeah, deer and a baby deer. See the spots on the fawn? And the turkeys.
I see deers all the time, like every time we go down Old Dominion Road.
Yes, I'm sure. And God created the creatures, each according to its kind, and it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth according to its kind, and everything that creeps on the earth according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. Anybody like horses? Yeah, everybody likes horses, I think. Then God said, "Let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over the beasts of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps on the earth." Then God blessed them, and God said, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it." Then God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. So the evening and the morning were the 6th day. Now I didn't put any pictures of people in there because I didn't want to represent any specific person or type or anything like that. But because God is universal. He doesn't care what we look like. He made us to be like him. And on the 7th day, God ended his work, which he had done, and he rested on the 7th day. And that's why we're here today, right? We're resting on the Sabbath day. He rested on the 7th day from all his work, which he had created and made. Then God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work, which God had created and made. Isn't God wonderful? His creation is beautiful, isn't it? How many of you have enjoyed being out in nature and in God's creation? Yeah, I see a lot of hands out there in the audience too, besides the children. Yes, we can all be thankful for what God has done. And if it wasn't what he had done for us, we wouldn't be able to be here celebrating communion.